let's look at some of those key components about what is making collective intelligence work. One of the things is diversity. So right now, remember we did the thing about music and everything else. We could go on, it's pretty much, you could write down or shout out a list of a thing. So let's say, somebody come up with a weird thing that they do.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Or Jiu-Jitsu in general, martial art. Who else does that? Martial arts? Are you kidding? You're kidding. Doesn't show.
Hey.
Somebody come up with another random thing.
I did some capoeira.
So,
I mean, I did some capoeira a long time ago.
is that the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a hit already with some random thing. We could keep going for round. What's quite interesting is then when you look in the world of abundant systems, there is a huge diversity that appears. I mean, there are men, there are women, old people, young people, people that were born in Canada, people that were born in Brazil, people that were born in Latvia, and there's a huge amount of diversity. With diversity, you have the ability to create these intersections, and it's at those intersections where new things emerge. We know that quite conclusively, so it's really then having that sort of large-scale diversity allows the collective intelligence to really work. Another one is scale, and this gets into the whole notion of abundance. As soon as you begin to go on beyond about 20 people, you enter into the world of scale and abundance. Remember the birthday question? Intuitively, our brains would not be saying it's 70% plus, and yet that's what the math is showing. We have enough experience, having sort of run our idea central system through 7,000 or 8,000 times over the last 10 years, that we pretty much know how things will work before they happen. Pfizer knows, for example, that if they're trying to solve intensely, fiendishly complicated chemistry problems, that if they do it in a certain way now, they will solve the problems 9 times out of 10. It just always works. The reason why these things work is the scale at which we're applying it to. And if we look at Pfizer, for example, they will have problems where only 6 people in the world could understand the question, let alone provide an answer. So we could then say, well, why on earth ask 3,500 scientists across Pfizer? Well, it turns out that if you do it at scale, there are a number of very interesting sort of network effects that take place. For example, there's a technique that we've developed called the ORCID model, and this is a personality style test, very, very important for innovation and a variety of other things. And one of the personality styles is a helper. The helper likes making social connections, it likes connecting people and things together. Well, if you ask 3,500 people, about 25% of them will have helper as a style. We know this through the data. That means that one of those helpers will see this, and because we're looking at massive scale, the likelihood is that one of those people will know one of the 6 people that will be able to solve the problem. In fact, if any of you have ever bought any of these, like been into a Hallmark store, and you have these little trees with little pictures on it, of course, none of you will admit to going to a Hallmark store, but we will have to buy gifts for that relative that we don't really like. That came from our Imaginatik's idea central system. And that's so that whole notion of the sort of the people tree. But that didn't come with, like, we know because there was a patent submission space around it. The idea came in was not, I think we should have a tree for this, but the idea came in from a helper to say, you need to speak to Brian, because Brian's got a whole box of cool stuff. And we know through the log data that Brian came in the day after. We know that he looked at every single idea, and we know that he smugly came into the office in the afternoon to say, you don't have any ones of mine, here's a box full of stuff here. But that's how the helpers begin to work in this world of scale. Now let's pick out the notion of immediacy. How long should it take to solve an impossible problem? 2 years? 5 years? What if we have the power to solve a problem in 10 days? It doesn't matter how complicated it is. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? Yes. So what's happening with this is that right now the tools, the techniques, and the methods are sort of so well known and we can pretty much, it's practically guaranteed, start to finish 10 working days. You can go from, I'm an executive, I've just come off an airplane, I'm kind of tired, but I pulled out this article, I want to do this, please. So then coming up with a solution within 10 days, or at least the beginnings of a solution that can begin to be worked out and developed further from masses of people. A good example of this, we work with one of the divisions of Honeywell, UOP. It's about 3,500 engineers doing process licensing technology for the oil and gas industry. And this was about 6 years ago. We helped them develop their nanofluids strategy. And that was then they used Idea Central, our software product and method, to ask 3,500 engineers, what do you know about nanofluids? And what they did is that they used that, they didn't rate it or prioritize it. This became what was called a collaborative document. This is a synthesis of all the knowledge that we, across UOP, know about nanofluids. And it's a big document, and it was created in 3 days. Normally, it would take you about 4 weeks to come up with what the question should be. But we're talking about a different form of immediacy. Talking about scope. Let's say that we were to have a blog. Okay, blog. And let's say we're a planet of, what, 7 billion people? Right, I'd like us to pick one person to write a blog for the planet. Okay, how dumb would that be? I mean, now we can say that's a stupid idea. And yet in the world of when you didn't have these tools, we had a very narrow scope. But right now, with internet tools, with the ability to pretty much create patterns, what Gartner calls sort of pattern-based work, we can create tools, techniques, and methods that can be applied at scale to spread across the entire scope of business activities. This is not something that should just be done in R&D. It can be done in the supply chain. It can be done with distributors. It can be done with academics, and. These tools naturally allow us to then increase the scope. And then alignment is one of those other critical things, because more people are looking, more people are bought in through the process. The notion about bringing people on board is still critical. Remember, as I was saying, that of this area, 40% is all about people. So using these collective intelligence tools allows us to have a much better alignment and engagement.